Hey, Lettuce Heads, thanks for checking out part 2 of the Sand Valley Golf Resort review. If you didn't do so already, make sure you check out last week's drop where we took on the resort overview, the Sandbox, and Sedge Valley. Here for part 2, we're going to be taking on Mammoth Dunes, Sand Valley, and our final closing thoughts. So, as always, enjoy and stay plugged. All right, so at this point, a lot of golf. We recovered overnight, back to the trailer, and the next day we had a 36-hole bender. We had Mammoth Dunes and Sand Valley. Jewel, take us through our AM round at Mammoth Dunes.
Kicked off by a pretty fantastic breakfast sandwich, I must say.
Jewel loves a good sandwich.
And a full coffee urn, which we did not find in Erin Hills. So Mammoth Dunes, I thought was a wonderful golf course. This is a David McClay kid, built in 2018. I think this was the third course built on property, right behind the Sandbox. Par 73, 5 par 5s, which I think is a ton of fun. I think the 5 par 5s plus everything you hear about Mammoth Dunes, obviously it's Mammoth, but everybody thinks like this is a scoreable golf course. You're about to go throw up Sheep Ranch type scores. I thought this course was fantastic. Yes, it's fun because it's Mammoth property, tons of massive, expansive fairways. You can kind of let it rip. But if you hit it in the wrong place in the fairway, a lot of blind shots into the greens. So there's an opportunity to go low out there because of the ability just to let it rip. And, I think one thing that we were a little disappointed in Erin Hills is that they didn't use the contours of the land very well to give you that opportunity with the ledges and the slopes to play shots off of them into the greens. Mammoth Dunes was the complete opposite. Like, there were so many ledges and slopes to hit into, especially if you knew where they were, that would help funnel the ball into the pin placements and into the greens, which I think was really cool. And it makes it a ton of fun. So I really, really enjoyed this golf course. There's a copious amount of bunkers, and a lot of just really cool terrain that with a lot of undulation. So I don't know. I think this place reminds me of a really, really cool Linksy style golf course with a ton of just elevation changes throughout.
Yeah, it's a big boy walk. So Mammoth and everything's big there. The greens are big, the bunkers are big, the dunes are big, the walk is big. Hey, other thing we'd be remiss not to mention, the putting green goes into the first hole tee box. Cool aesthetic. Yeah, I know that's not the only place that does it, but it's a pretty cool vibe, especially in the morning. Jules crushing his sandwich, he's got his coffee. We had an 8 o'clock tee time or something. A couple groups out going off before us. You see them launching off the putting green. It just gets you engaged.
It's a cool vibe until you have to hit a shot off of it.
Yeah, that's true.
But okay, so let's run it down. So Jewel, you were smitten with it. You loved it. I think there was. I want to be clear here. I didn't dislike Mammoth Dunes. I think I'm not going to spoil my lettuce rank. It's not at the top of my list. But a lot of the positives you said, right? Par 73, 5 par 5s, it's supposed to be fun. You hear about setting your own personal record there. But the course kind of starts off, slaps you in the face a little with this awesome view. And then 1, 2, 3 are just big. You're launching drivers. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it slaps you in the face with a par 73. Before you even started, it goes.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
good luck scoring low today.
Yeah, it's a par 7.
We're going to just add one.
Yeah, add one. Well, you get the extra par 5. But I mean, my thing about the front nine is I just go to with Sedge, we just walked through and I felt like I could have deep dive every hole with you guys, but it's with this, I'm like, yeah, it was cool. I'm launching a driver, I'm hitting to a funnel pin. I'm launching a driver, I'm hitting to a funnel pin. But before we get to the part I know you really want to talk about starting that hole 4, I don't want to drive by if Adam or Aaron has any thoughts of that opening 3-hole stretch.
Nothing too special.
You can see how much opening hole though. See how much we like Mammoth.
Yeah. I mean,
on tee shot, big green.
That's Mammoth wasn't exactly my vibe, but yeah, I mean that opening tee shot. I said it earlier. You're hitting it's uncomfortable. Everybody's watching you, and my opening tee shot was wiped. The big right miss came into play. I didn't even see where it went, and I think it went over in that massive like sand dune to the right.
Yeah, Jewel asked if we're into the sun too, and Jewel's like, is that perfect? And I was like, yes, perfect off the reservation, right, man. We gave you a breakfast ball and you piped.
It sounded good.
You did. I struggled on the biggest fairways on property. I couldn't find it. Couldn't find a fairway.
4 to me is when the golf course became Mammoth Dunes that I've heard about. 4 was a fantastic par 3. I mean, there's really nothing in your way except you've got a starter on the tee that tells you like where you probably should hit it. And none of us listen except for me. And he's like, hey, you're aiming at this tree, which is like 25 to 30 yards left of the pin. And because everything funnels back to the right, there's a ton of bunkering on the right of the actual green. And I thought it was a really cool par 3. It probably played that 175, so fairly challenging too. But I think that's where this course became what I loved about it, with all those slopes and ledges that took everything and ran it back as long as you knew where to hit
it. So yeah, it's funny. He tells us exactly where to hit it, and like the first 3 of us were like, fuck that, and we go at the stick, and you're just dead right of that hole.
So I mean, I do think Mammoth has some fantastic par 3s, and I totally agree with Jewel there. I mean, 4 was one of the cool ones going up that hill.
4 was good.
Yeah, 4 was good, and we'll get into, I think, probably the best par 3 on the course later. But nothing to add with 4 other than you and Aaron really.
Look, we don't need to derail this pod, but it was a
not
moment.
About us.
It's not about us, but I had a bad moment in the bunker with my cousin, Mr. Golfberg. That kind of derailed my mind for about 3 holes. I followed that up with a don't give a shit pickup double on 5, which I do think 5 was actually a pretty cool golf hole overall. But man, you guys go back and attack 5 and 6 how you want. But what really hit me in 6, and again, hand up, this is a me problem, not a golf course problem, but it's probably a me problem, probably a hedge. So we get to 6, and it's kind of like one of these things. You hear the course is supposed to be easy. Outside of like one tee shot where I didn't listen to the starter, I'm playing good. I should be a couple deep by now, but I'm not. And we get to 6, and I pipe a drive. And Aaron, I think you were like, I'm not going to bite off more than I could chew here. I'm going to hit hybrid. And he hits a hybrid straight up, like 170 yards left. I am hitting a shot into this. I'm hitting a hot shot into this big punch bowl green, and hit it, and you got like 20 feet. And then Aaron just launches one blind, like from the fucking nowhere zone. And it just goes into this bowl and flips around and goes to like 5 feet, and he makes a birdie. And I was like, fuck this golf course. Not that I don't want it to be playable, but the guy who I was just pissed off about, I was kind of low-key happy that he snap hooked one that was like, off the property. And then he's just like, well, it's fine though, because you can kind of hit it anywhere as long as you don't get like in some of the cacti, which, pro tip, those little sand spurs, they're deadly out there. They'll get you. But then, that was just, again, it's more of a me thing that it was fun hitting some of those bowly approach shots, but also it kind of seemed repetitive and not a lot of reward for executing a good tee shot. Let me put it that way.
Well, to defend Mammoth Dunes, you're repetitive, okay? So back off. No.
I know.
But this is when y'all had your little spat, and I thought 5 was a really cool little par 4. You had a speed slot on the right that I completely missed, and I was blocked on the left. They had a great drive, but there's this pretty mammoth dune coming in on the left side that if you hit a pretty good shot, you don't have a view of it.
Common theme, a lot of mammoth dunes out there.
If you look to the right, you've got a really good speed slide that I probably would have been 30 yards further down. It would have had a great shot into that green, which was a pretty unique green. But 6 is the first of the 3 drivable par 4s here that I absolutely loved about this course. 6 was really cool. I wish I could do it again. You two kind of ruined it for me because we were in a weird mindset at that point. but I would have hit a different shot. I think you and I both ended up in that bunker front right of in front of the hole, and it was an impossible shot. I shanked mine over. I think you hit a decent one, not impossible, but that's that horseshoe green that I didn't really get to experience because I kind of just ruined the hole.
Well, you also didn't miss it 150 yards left to actually get to use the whole horseshoe of the green. So that was it. But
six green was wild. I mean, it was like almost like a canoe. Like it was just
Aaron, you don't even know.
I hate admitting I have no memory of this hole. None.
Yeah, well,
I made a birdie. I had no memory of it.
All right, so we wrapped up the front nine. You know, we had to change.
Yeah, 9 was a birdie hole.
Yeah,
it was.
You did birdie.
9 was a cool hole.
It was a
9
cool. There were a bunch
massive
of
fairway, but I think we all thought that the bunker on the left was going to come into play. We thought it was like 280. It was actually like 380.
Yeah,
and I know I hit mine right, but it was a really cool green too. Golfberg obviously made a birdie. But when you made the turn there, really quick, easy, short walk from the green to the tee box, 10 was a cool hole.
Oh yeah,
I love that drivable par 4. I hit a fade. I took a 3-wood and tried to shape right to left. It was just a really cool par 4. Andrew tried to go for it over the trees, got fully ejected.
It was, I had a great recovery, but that might have been the best golf shot I hit of the trip. I mean, it was because I'm not a big drawer of the golf ball with the lumber. And you basically have to, if you're you really don't have to. It's stupid. You should just hit a little cut just short of the green. But if you want to get after that back left flag, and that hole gave me like old Mac vibe. But yeah, man, it was a cool, definitely drivable short par 4. That was one of my favorite on the course. Adam, you didn't like it? Just reading some body language.
I'm going to lay out when we talk about 10, 11, and 12 because I was kind of in my feelings through that stretch. I had a very, very tough stretch where I was ready to just kind of like trash my clubs once we got back to the clubhouse and just say, you know what, guys, you guys go ahead and go out and play, Sand Valley. I'm just going to hang out.
I'm trying to be objective here because you got to think too. So we had traveled on Thursday, played some golf Thursday night, Erin Hills Friday, Sandbox and Sedge on Saturday, Sunday Mammoth Dunes. So it's, you're getting into the throes of the golf trip. You're walking, you're tired. You kind of feel like all those bad things should be out of your golf system. I go through my 3-hole little what the effer, and Golfberg does. Then Adam's going through his. Jules over here just trying to vibe, and every 3 holes somebody's throwing a hissy fit. And usually it's hard to get under Adam's skin. So something's going on when Adam's pissed off for 3 holes.
I'm over here pulling Adam to the side. I'm like, hey, bro, this is brutal. Like, what are we going to do? I'm about to just go have a couple of beers and enjoy myself and get away from it all.
Oh man. But so moving on in the back. So 11 though, again, I do like the back 9, I think better, but 11 was a cool dogleg left par 5 where you just beasted a drive on a line that you're not supposed to take. But it had a more I would say an Aaron Hillsy-ish level, Hillsian level green, like approach these uphill par 5. You gotta, you had like a 200 shot in or something. I don't know. Like me and Aaron had like
190. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Aaron and I, we had like 230, 40. So we're hitting lumber in there, and it's like, you're going to do it. It's firm. You can hit, but dude, you block it on that short right, like me and you did. You're not getting up and down from there. I mean, you'll par it, but you that's the risk, I guess, like I thought that was actually a pretty well-designed, awesome par 5.
Agreed. I thought it was a really cool look from the tee box to your, I guess, landing spot for the driver. And you have no idea what to do left. And I think we all got down where my ball was. And, I didn't really truly mean to hit it there. But we look back and we could have gone so much further left and carried a little bit. And I think it would have been fine. Even if we would have stayed in the rough there, it was such a good angle to the green from where you guys were.
Yeah, it was definitely... It was a cut above the other ones for me. But so Adam, with 13, the par 3, what'd you like so much about this par 3? It's just a 135-yard shot, man. What was so good about it?
Well, I got semi ejected on the tee shot. I found that back bunker that just falls off the face of the earth. And
you hit the green and it was like that. Stop, and it looked like it stopped, and then just hit the infinity fall off.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just such a cool green side. I mean, I'm trying to in my head think about what's the better par 3, Sedge 5 or 13 at Mammoth. I think I'd probably still say Sedge 5 for sure.
Yeah,
but 13 at Mammoth is special.
Yeah, it's pretty. Like you're hitting over this. What would you guys call it? It's like a cavern. It's kind of similar to 5, like you said, but it's just this massive expanse of nothing, of like sand and small shrubbery, and you're hitting to this green that actually is a really big green, but it has these little shelves in it that I could tell like the pinnable locations and make that green pretty tough to get anything near a flag stick. And then visually it's pretty awesome.
I'll say this to kind of just close up on Mammoth Dunes. The 14th I thought was really cool. I wish I would have hit a different club. I hit driver. I hit it way too far, but it's just this really
humble brag.
Yeah, I mean, I had been hitting the gym a little bit, but seriously, there's this massive hill, 14, that swings right to left. And I was watching the Crash Course by NLU on this one, and they were talking about Golf Digest. Like, they are the ones that actually designed this from like a chair. Like, I don't know if they did this with CAD or whatever, but this hole was not designed by David McClay Kidd. But anyway, I thought it was really cool. Like, we could have just hit a 3-wood out to the right and let it run down. You two are actually on the green putting for eagle, but I thought it was a super cool hole. Did y'all have any thoughts on 14? Because I thought that was maybe one of my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, 14 was again, it depends on, like, I don't think gimmicky is the right word. It's just very unique. So I'm cool with it how unique it is, but it's just, you got this crazy elevated tee shot, and then it's kind of blind, and you see half of the green sitting way down below. And a starter 6 holes before was like, hey, there's like a black looking like half bunker off in the distance. Just aim at that. And you're like, man, but that's like 30, 40 yards right of the green. And we all did. And then you just see the balls start funneling down. I mean, so it was cool. It was fun, but
so that's why I think it's not gimmicky, because they give it to you. If you can just do that thing, you're gonna get this crazy raw, and then it's still a tough putt. I mean,
yeah, it's still part.
That's a big, fast green with a lot of hill to it. So it's gonna roll out hard, and you're gonna have a crazy 30-footer. It's no gimme by any means.
Yeah, it was.
Fun hole.
It was unique. Yeah, more we're talking about this back nine, the more I'm like, this back nine was pretty damn solid.
To end at 18 was an awesome finish. It reminded me a little bit like Sheep Ranch 18, but not as easy in a layup as 15 at Sheep Ranch. You still had
not even close to
a work.
Easy. Yeah,
but it was still. I mean, that day we were playing into the wind, and I still only had like 5 or 6 iron into it on the second shot. And there's some really cool slopage on the left side you can hit it into and bank it back to the green. You made eagle, which was awesome. I made birdie, and I mean, just a nice way to finish. Made you feel good.
It did suck, because how many shots did we watch sitting in the chairs? There's cool chairs that overlook the 18th green, and it's kind of a bold green, and people are hitting shots into that bowl, and you're seeing who can funnel it down, and everyone's cheering and going rowdy, but you can't see your shot if it's a back flag from the fairway. And I hit one, and I was like, man, that has to be good. There's people sitting up there. No one's saying a fucking word. And I get up there, and my ball's like 2 feet for eagle. And I'm looking at these fuckers like, what were you expecting? Like, I can't even get like this. Like, what are we doing out here, guys? I mean, I think we got some bad timing there.
Well, as a guy and girl that looked like they had just gotten engaged, they had a bottle of champagne. They were not paying attention to us.
All right, guys. So Mammoth Dunes. Okay. It's weird. We're parsing hairs.
I gotta.
Yeah, no, do it. No, do it.
Okay.
I mean,
I have a thought about Mammoth Dunes. You may have noticed energy wane just a little bit towards the end of this, kind of in the back nine. It reminds me of playing the actual round itself. And there was a key component missing at Mammoth Dunes. Their push carts sucked compared to Sedge. Sedge had multiple beverage holders. It had this extra little cart. It had the layout in the front where you could have the scorecard, and the thing opened. You could put your glove, your phone in there. You could have multiple drinks. Like, you could have your rangefinder just set, right? they throw you over in Mammoth with this old school, like clunky thing. I didn't even have a beverage holder. You guys at least maybe had one. I just had the one at the bottom that's supposed to hold like a sand holder, but there's like a big crack in it, so you can't put your phone in it or that'll just slide out. Anyway, so we're trying to have a good time. You're discombobulated, carrying too much shit out there. Got tiring. Work on those push carts, Mammoth.
I'm glad you brought the push carts because
thank you.
Mammoth is a massive. I mean, it's not as much as Erin Hills, but it is a walk. And like, I think I made this comment while we were out there, but it feels like Mammoth is the one course. So maybe you do carts on Mammoth because I go back to it. It gives me Sheep Ranch vibes where it feels like a course that, hey, you go out with some beers. You don't take the round too serious. It's supposed to be super fun. Everything's funneling towards the pin. And it's just like you're out there to have a good time. And I don't know, it feels more like you should have carts.
And I really think, man, I know I wasn't planning on going here yet, but look, I know we're getting older, but those fairways are not country club fairways. They are firm, fescue, natural. There's no way a cart would do any damage to them. And to be frank, like, it's not a special walk. It's not like you're talking about abandoned course where it's like, oh, you need to walk this to experience it, or even to that degree. Okay, let's say Erin Hills or something, but or Whistling. But it's like, okay, we've seen a lot of sand dunes. We get it. It's big, it's bold. But yeah, zoom in maybe an afternoon round. I know Stream Songs started doing that. Like carts in the afternoons, probably get some extra rounds out there.
Or Segway carts. Just have that.
I think at their new course, the Mound, they are going to have carts because it's just straight uphill the whole way.
Hey, or motorcycles.
Oh yeah, hey, professional teaser, Lasonia links. All right, so Mammoth, I don't think was. Again, I don't know where it's gonna net out. I think at the end of the year we're gonna do a top courses of the year personal ranking pod and refresh our personal top 10s. Like it's not going to be in my personal top 10, but it's probably but it'll be in my 11 to 20 range. And it's good if you're there, play it. But if I was going back again, I don't know if I feel like I have to go play Mammoth Dunes.
I think the only reason it'd be that highly ranked is just because it's next to those other courses. And that otherwise, I think you're thinking of giving it a little too much credit. But that's all right.
Yeah, it's fair.
I would go play Sandbox twice before Mammoth.
Definitely.
Hey, wow.
But hey,
guys, I think the vibe was so bad. Y'all got to play Mammoth Dunes again.
I do like that, man.
But yeah, this Mammoth is awesome. Jules got a sick shirt. He said he got multiple compliments on it already. My kids love this, so I stole this for the night. So
no, we actually had a good vibe going. Then you tried to say 11 to whatever. Like those are world golf rankings. I don't think this course belongs in a top 20 conversation. There's no chance.
Mean, I'm talking about a personal, like what I've played, not like top 20 that exists. Yeah. It's probably it might not be in my top 20 at this point, but anyways. All right. So the final course we played is the OG Sand Valley. So let me get my cheat sheet out here. Just we've been talking a lot. The brain's a little scrambled eggs. So
what Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, I got a spreadsheet on telling me what Sand Valley. So this is the OG course, Core Crenshaw, 2017 flagship. For me, Core Crenshaw is usually right up my alley, right? Like it's every time you play a Core Crenshaw, your floor is that it's going to be very good. The ceiling is, your abandoned trails and all of that. Spoiler alert, just like the other courses, we're talking a lot of sand. It's pretty big. It's pretty bold. But this is the championship golf course. So again, I was trying to tee up how, Sedge is this Heathland vibe. Mammoth is this big ballpark. This is the championship golf course. Like it's hosting USGA events. I think the Mid-Am's there next year. And you could tell, like, it definitely feels closer to normal championship golf, and it's hard. Like it's hard for traditional reasons, where the others they have different tricked up things, but they're very unique to the area and being at a dream golf resort. So I would say, like, right out of the gates, the first hole I liked a lot. Just felt you knew as a Core Crenshaw, because it's like the fairway's big, but it still somehow makes you feel uncomfortable. But it's a massive fairway. They visually intimidate you, but it's all right there. And then the green, a triple tiered green where, again, Core Crenshaw 101, the green is huge and you're like, oh, this is a big ass green, but you still feel like you're going to miss it. You feel like, oh, if I just don't nip this right, you got runoffs, and not in a gimmicky way, but just in a very challenging way. So I thought that first hole was a cool introduction to like, I'm going to love Sand Valley. Then the next few holes I didn't particularly like 2 and 3. I would just straight up say, and I'll get off this quick intro. If you guys want to reattack any of the intro holes, please do. 2 and 3 just didn't feel like it fit in the golf course. They aesthetically played and looked very different to me. And then 4 to 7 was just hard as shit. So there was some okay golf holes in there, but just if you're going to play Sand Valley, just be prepared. That front 9 is one of the hardest 9 holes of golf you're going to play. Not like you're losing balls hard, but it's just going to require excellent tee shots, excellent approach shots, and you're going to miss some greens and have really hard, up and downs. But again, my initial thoughts were awesome. Core Crenshaw, this is exactly what I want. And then I quickly, over a few holes, went like, ooh, this is not what I was expecting. But then 8 and beyond, that shit ramps back up for me. But I'm gonna stop there. So Adam, you seem chomping at the bit to get in on this Core Crenshaw. Tell me that Sand Valley vibe.
I think 2 was sick. Like, it's probably the hardest hole on that course to me. And like, it just you get to 2. Like, we played Mammoth, and you get to 2 and you're like, hey, I hope you guys had fun at Mammoth, because welcome to the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Like, that green, if you go long on that green, like, you're going down a hill you're gonna have like a 100-yard shot to an impossible green. It has almost 6 at Pacific vibes to it. But yeah, super tough golf hole. But you're right, the front 9 is very challenging. I actually really like the front 9. Just the hole stood out more to me. Yeah, I'm a very sick person. I didn't think anything was like unfair or gimmicky.
No,
but the holes just felt more unique to me.
So, but think what you said. 2 was really hard. 3 was just 3 was the worst par 3 on property, which is crazy because Core Crenshaw usually makes the best par 3s.
Yeah, but then a great hole.
4 was that like 600-yard par 5 up the hill. 5 was a pretty cool. But was that
5 or 4?
That was that was 4.
Okay,
that was 4,
come on, man.
I didn't like that hole either.
I prepped for Sand Valley, man.
Sorry.
Come on, dog.
Yeah. I remember because it felt like we were on that par 5 for 45 minutes. It just felt like it took forever to play.
I walked off that par 5 covered in blood.
Yeah, you were pretty good.
I was in the sand spurs right on my second shot, and I was just drenched in blood. You guys finished the hole, and I was just getting to the green. There's a group behind us. I'm bleeding, and you guys are just looking at me, and I'm the one always bitching about pace, and I'm like, fuck, this sucks.
Yeah. 2 through 6 is a hold on to your nut stretch.
5, 6, and 7. Those 3 golf holes are 3 of the hardest golf holes I've played at a resort. It's the 3 hardest golf holes I think I've played.
So there were some hold on moments for sure.
Yeah, again, some pretty spots. It's not like I didn't like it, but I was just like, whoo, this is not fun. Not that it's bad, but it wasn't fun. But Aaron, Jewel, any of the opening or thoughts on the initial feelings at Sand Valley?
2 was brutal. I got freaking lucky with an awesome lineup bunker, and just like, let's be honest, I hit it to a foot. And birdied 2, this hard hole y'all were talking about. 3 did stink, but we got rushed because we went and got some drinks after 3.
Yeah.
And the guys behind us were like really kind of pushing us. We were getting a little annoyed. But 4 was brutal. 4 was brutal. It was all uphill. It was a tough walk. Everything about it sucked.
Yeah, that's another pro tip. Do not play Sand Valley and Mammoth Dunes the same day. Like, it just
no way.
I don't care what kind of shape you're in. It's just totally avoidable. And they're the 18 holes at Mammoth and the front 9 at Sand Valley are very hard walks, so it'll kill your ass.
Yeah, I mean, my only feeling on when we started Sand Valley, that it was pretty and it was interesting, and I wished that I had more energy and that I had more of my A game out there, because it seemed like it'd be kind of a fun course to play, maybe if you have your shit together. But I was exhausted, and I would like to just start the day on that course.
Yeah,
with just some fresh legs and try to attack it, deal with some of the downside that's inevitable out there. But yeah, you just need your energy.
Yeah, imagine Sand Valley in the morning and a sandbox at night.
God. Oh, so great. And Core Crenshaw stimulates my golf mind the most. I don't know, man. I don't remember a ton of these holes. And I don't know if it was because it was after Mammoth Dunes and we were all worn out. But I don't remember a ton. I had to go back and do a decent amount of research, and I still am lagging a little bit.
Yeah, I think 7, 8, and 9 was a good stretch.
Well, I'll only hip check and say 7 was a really cool looking golf hole, but it was still just brutally, ridiculously hard. 8 is where, for me, it went to the stratosphere. 8 is the
it was fun.
8 is this like 130-yard par 3 up a 40 foot kind of hill. It's like sitting on a dune almost, but you can't tell the green is really long, but it's skinny, just like we like it. But it's like a triple tiered green back there. So you could play that hole like wherever that pin is, that hole's going to play completely different. But we had a cool on that front tier, man. We had a few minute break before to just sit down and gather our thoughts after getting our teeth kicked in for the first 7 holes. Everyone hit really like cool shots into there, man. I thought that was one of the best short par 3s I've played. I loved it.
And the way it's designed, I think at least twice we thought a ball was going in the hole. You just can't tell what's going on, but it just looks like it's moving right towards it. And I think I thought I was going to make a hole in one and then 3-putted for a 4. So it wasn't close, and that green is nuts.
Yeah. No, it was. But then yeah, and then you go right into number 9, which they so it's funny, they kick you in the teeth, like 600-yard uphill par 5s, 460-yard crazy bunkered par 4s, and then they give you this 130-yard 30-yard par 3, and then a 290-yard par 4 to close out the front 9.
It screws with you mentally.
I know.
Yeah, it's like you're not prepared for that tee shot, and you screw it. Yeah.
And honestly, similar to the Sedge comments, I don't think 9 is. I'm sure like you could drive it, but how firm it was, man. I don't, and how it necks in. It's really like you just hit a 240 shot out there, and you got to just try to hit a 70, 80-yard wedge, and hold the green, because that was the thing. Like, man, that green was firm as crap. Like my approach, I remember I landed a foot short of the flag, and I got a crazy, bunker shot where I'm like hanging off the lip. But
I was thinking, is that a lame hole for a championship course? But maybe you're allowed 1.
Yeah,
because I don't know if there was anything else like that. So maybe it's like 1, like it feels different than the rest of the course, and I bet people screw up their strategy there all the time.
Yeah, I could see. Well, I could see people not wanting to go left because it looks so like you're lost ball city, and you just block it right.
And then trees.
Yeah, and then you have
over there.
Yeah, Jewel.
Yes, Jewel.
Yeah, I mean, I just blocked it right. I mean, I'm the person that did that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely there. Sorry, that was the front 9. So again, it was hard. Some definitely traditional Core Crenshaw elements, but then getting to the back 9. I really like the back 9, man. Some of it, I don't want to say it's because of personal play. I think that's easy, but my lowest round to par by far was Mammoth Dunes on the trip. I shot like 50 under on the back 9 at Mammoth, and it still didn't, whatever. I really just think it's a combination of like you're getting to the golden hour. That back 9 was really pretty. And it had just these cool vibe moments. Like you start with a par 5. I love a 10th hole par 5. It has 3 par 5s on the back. Like you just went through a par 35 that was hard as shit. You survived it. You was able to get through it, relatively unscathed. Then you got a par 5 on 10, a par 5 on 12, a par 5 on 18. the opportunity is there. The sun is
18,
setting.
18 was a par 6, I think.
Yeah, it's a par 6. It was, or a 7 for some. But so yeah, I like not that 10 wasn't an exceptional hole, but big landing spot. You got 2 routes you could take, left or right. But it did have a pretty sick green, kind of an unassuming but really cool slope, kind of back to front green, with a bowl in the middle of it. So I like that start. So guys, what's the vibe check on 10 here going through the rest of the back 9?
No, you said it had that center line bunker right there in the fairway. I kind of think that really, strategy wise, coming off the tee, you got to take a line either right or left, and then, like you said, the green super interesting up there.
Yeah, then to me, that's when I started thinking, and then you got to like fast forward to 12's another par 5, and this is normally something I would probably not like, but it has like this center line tree and a center line bunker, and it's like it's a par 5.
Cool.
Yeah,
you don't have to fuck with it, right? You don't have to, but we're all like, but I'm gonna. And like, you launch these drives and you got to hit it high and you got to hit it far, but if you carry that center line tree, you're in this firm fairway and you got a 200 whatever 20-yard shot into the par 5 if you don't take the conservative route. So it just gave those opportunities, but it was still challenging. And again, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but then you get into the par 3s, like 14. The first thing we said walking up, like, man, this looks like Bandon Trails. Tree's a little bit smaller, but look like a tucked Bandon Trails type of par 3.
That's what I got on 9. I feel like 9 was just so Bandon Trails.
It
like
did
that green site.
Yeah, the green site definitely did. But man, guys, shit was so firm out there. This was way firmer than like most stuff you're ever going to play. So you really got to think your way through some of those shots. But yeah, just looking at the card here on the back, God, I don't think there was a hole in the back. 11 was maybe the closest to a throwaway hole, but I really liked all the holes on the back. We got to 16 is this dogleg left, par 4, really pretty. It's like kind of choose your own adventure. Do you want to cut the corner? Do you want to play a little conservative? I see a Jewel smirk, so let's just do the check-in. At this point, we had a pretty electric match going on, a little stroke play action. Jewel was a couple up on me on the turn. I get hot on the back. I'm birdieing some holes. He's birdieing, but at this point, we get to 16. I birdie 16. I was 4 deep on the back, and I went 2 up on him there. And we'll save that teaser of how that's going to end out on 17 and 18. So we're both a couple under at this point. But back to the golf course. Yeah, it was again cool. It gave opportunities. You could get wedges in your hand. You could hit a golf shot. Everyone on that hole, I remember, hit pretty good shots in there. And then you get to 17, guys. I didn't even know about 17, but 17 is the most like unique par 3 I've ever played. It doesn't necessarily mean it's great, but it's crazy.
It shoves. 17 was probably my favorite course on this property.
What's your favorite hole on this
Punch
property?
bowl?
Did I say course? I
mean, his favorite course. It's lay down here in the southeast.
It's 11:30.
Yeah. But yeah, Adam, tell us about 17.
Yeah, so long par 3. It's a punch bowl green. It's a massive punch bowl green. And yeah, you're right. I didn't really have this hole on my radar. Sometimes before we, go on these trips, you do a little peeking, a little research and see what you're getting into. And this was like a surprise. It was like, where'd this hole come from? And the flag stick is
like 25 feet tall.
Yeah, which is so sick. And yeah, we're in the golden hour too, and just the way that the sun was hitting that green and the setting, you and Jewel going back and forth. It was a special moment.
But yeah, really crazy, cool, kind of unique way to have a just different par 3. That's definitely not a Core Crenshaw special, but it was cool.
Didn't you have to borrow a wedge or something to hit out of the bunker back there?
Oh yeah. So because you leave your clubs down where you're at because it's by the 18th.
Oh, that was 17. I finally remembered.
Oh my God. Aaron was there that day. But
was so checked out on the back.
We thought it's such an optical illusion. We thought I flagged it. We get up there and we see 3 balls, and mine's in this dead bunker in the back. And luckily Aaron brought a wedge with him. And I was like, well, I guess I'm using this wedge. And it sucks because the word, I can't even describe it, but I would say it's probably a top 3 sand shot I've ever hit in my life, to be able to fly it where it did, hold it where it did, and get up and down for par. I clearly sealed the match at that point. Nothing could go wrong. Make this heroic up and down. Julie did have a look at bird there, but ended up with the par. So I'm going into 18-2 up. Again, golden hour, par 5, right up the hill, center line bunker right. But it's honestly a pretty big fairway. I think you guys kind of pushed it right, but that right bunker really wasn't reachable. So you just have that line. And I'll say this, my fatal flaw is I hit it straight. And even though that center line bunker wasn't reachable, I got Crenshaw or I got cord, because it completely blinds you to where you're hitting to. And all you can kind of see is left, and the whole left is like fescue hazard. And in your brain, you're just telling yourself, do anything but pull this golf ball. But it also suckers you because I had 230 and it's a long green, and it's like it's a go zone hybrid. And boy, did I not hit a go zone hybrid and fan it into the bunker short right and leave yourself the 55-yard bunker shot to the most severe drop off green that you're going to play. So I'll tee it up to there. But the 18th hole, what do you guys think?
I liked 18. It's kind of one of those holes where you need to plot your way up there. And Mr. Goldie, I think, maybe got a little aggressive, got himself into a bad situation. But I get it. Like,
I was hot. I was killing the back 9. I had a hybrid, perfect lie. I mean, if you put me there again, I know I'm going to do the same thing. Just wish I'd maybe hit.
Jewel barely survived his second shot, though.
Yeah.
What it ended up right. It ended up okay, but you barely got over that sand.
2 feet
from being in that same bunker and a little further back. Yeah.
Well, I actually hit a decent second shot there too. You just don't know the lines when you haven't played it yet. I was just too aggressive. Just be more left, and then you have the appropriate angle into the green.
Yeah. So there's a lot of landmines out there. That's kind of what I was getting at, was with plotting your way up there. But
yeah, if you went into it with because it's not a long par 5, but since it plays so far back uphill and it's so kind of penal around the green, it's almost like, hey, if you just tell yourself it's a 3-shot par 5, it's really not that bad. Like you said, if you hit it out to the right of that center line bunker, hit a 7-iron, 6-iron, 80 yards short of the green, like Aaron said, favor a little bit further left than you think. But I would say, I mean, your wedge isn't an easy wedge, but you got enough. The green's deep. Like you if you come up short, that's a you problem. Which, speaking of you problems, so inches away at glory, guys. So we have the video. This isn't a lie. 55-yard bunker shot, splash it out. Even when I did, it's hard because, like, in retrospect, I wish I used the gap wedge. I used the 54 for it. 55 yards to the pin. I probably flew it 45 yards, needed to fly at 46, runs up the slope, ejection. And if that wasn't mistake number 1, I did not putt off the green one time at Sand Valley Golf Resort. And the first time I did it was there. And I still think it probably was the smart play, but
sabotage.
It was the slowest, stickiest. I mean, I just saw my wedge, what it did. And I basically did the same thing with a putter, brought it back to my feet, and then I'd nuke one, 8-10 feet past and miss it for the double. And that's all she wrote, folks. A classic Goldie 18th hole, a chance at getting it to 5-6 under on the back and walk away with a nice double and handshake Jewel.
Well, Jewel, what'd you make there?
Par.
Yeah. Tough hole. Another tough finishing hole.
Yeah, one cupcake, that's for sure.
I'll say though, and you'll get here at some point, but when you become a championship golfer,
couldn't even say it.
I think it's mean to end a course with a hard par 5. It's like par 5, you're just feeling, oh hell yeah, I got a birdie hole to end this thing. Might even give myself an eagle putt. But no, not that one. It's kind of like not quite at the level of Aaron Hill's 18, but
yeah, it's like a playable.
Maybe just when it's your 36th hole of the day, and we had walked 17 miles at that point with not great push carts once again.
Yeah. Let's if Dream Golf is as good as it gets. Every other resort is dog shit compared to the Dream Golf resorts, but they skimping on the, like Bandon has an issue with it too. Like having the cheap, I get why they need the big wheel ones, but Sedge had that. There's modern big wheel ones that, like Aaron said, it's the scorecard holder, it's multiple drink holders. Like you just feel, and I really think it goes back to they want you to take caddies. They don't want
caddy scam. That's where I was. Caddy scam.
I didn't want to say it, but I knew we were going there.
Here's another.
Could be a caddy scam.
There's not a course at Sand Valley that you really need a caddy at either, right? Like there's nothing I could say where I'm like, oh, a caddy would have helped me there. Because they got starters on the 1 or 2 like extremely blind holes that for safety reasons they like kind of have to tell you. But other than that, man, like you don't need caddies there.
Yeah, but next time Jewel goes there, he's getting a caddy. He's going to say, hold one of my drinks in one hand, hold my snack in your other hand, and don't talk to me.
That's
because I don't have beverage holders on this push card.
That's I am.
He's getting a caddy at the sandbox.
Maybe.
That would have been fun.
I won't dox anybody, but we went on some previous golf trips with somebody that may have actually done that. So would do or pull that move. So yeah, guys. So I will say this. So Sand Valley again was the championship course. I think I get it. Like it's definitely that front 9 and then that closing, like you said, 18, Aaron. It's a tough test of golf. Like it's no joke. That's for sure. And I mean, but overall, I would say it's not my favorite core Crenshaw I played. I'll save again. Let us rank for my Wisconsin deep dive. But I kind of had it as, Jewel, we played Pinehurst number 4 last year. And that guy we played with that was from Minneapolis was like, oh, Pinehurst number 4 reminds me a lot of Sand Valley. And I could see that comp, but I think Pinehurst number 4 I have over Sand Valley if I had a choice of what I'd prefer to play.
Absolutely. And I could see that too, but I think number 4 is a good ways ahead of it.
Yeah.
But pro tip too, as it compares to a place like Bandon, if you go to Bandon, you have to squeeze in as much golf as possible. And it's not that difficult to walk 36 in a day just because of the terrain. It's different. But the walk at Mammoth, the walk at Sand Valley is nuts. So ideally you have 3 days there. You can do Mammoth and then the par 3. You could do Sand Valley and the par 3 and then Sedge. You could probably pair, but we didn't have to. Sedge and the par 3 was a great combo.
That'd be cool.
You just gotta, if you can get there and not put Mammoth and Sand Valley together, you'll be a little happier.
Even playing 36.
I like that. That's a good idea. You can do 36 on Sedge, and then you pair Sandbox with the other 2 both days. That'd be a great 3 days.
3 day, yeah. That's pretty. We've cracked the code.
Give yourself 2 chances at a par 68. Why not? Have fun.
But you gotta go play you gotta go play the Dune Mountain when that one opens up.
Yeah, of course.
Just bring your.
And did we say how good the food was? I mean, really good food there, actually.
Yeah, no, we talked about some food, but it was solid, man. It was good. It was friendly. So, guys, closing thoughts on Sand Valley Resort. Adam, get one off.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't know if we're gonna cover this when we do the list rank. Are we gonna rank the logos on property from each course?
We're
gonna do that right now.
We'll do it for Let Us Rank. We'll do course rankings, logo rankings.
Okay.
Good. Let's put that in the Rolodex. Do you feel like you had so this is where I'm running into you hear us referencing Bandon. It's not to be pretentious, but it's a real issue. If you go to Bandon, just be prepared. It's going to make other golf trips feel pointless is an extreme take, but lacking.
Less adequate.
Yes. and it's it is difficult still because you're comparing it to that bar. But I thought overall, I don't know if
Well, here, I'll tell you this. If you're going to go to Sand Valley, I was really jealous of the on-course lodging. I think the whole point of Sand Valley is go with friends. That's like the big group kind of place. It's got a super chill vibe. You can get spread out, but you're still kind of close. So if you can stay on that property and not deal with the murder house Airbnbs situation that's going on in rural Wisconsin. Jewel and I were in a dank basement cellar.
Dank's the perfect.
We survived it. Adam he couldn't lock his door, so he barricaded it at night with a fucking lazy boy. So stay if you could stay on that property and split up the two big boy courses. I think maybe it's worth going to with friends who just have a great time, bring a ton of cash, small denominations, bunch of bets. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, especially if you're in that Midwest area, man. That's for the trout. But I would like Adam and I, we were talking about this the other day. Matt, if you were in Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago, anything in that like 3-4 hour drive range, that would be an awesome place to go to annually with a buddy's trip. Because it's convenient, it's well ran, the golf is good, like you said. But
working some tennis every other year.
It's get ramped up for that.
Hey, real quick, let's go through an exercise here. So obviously we compare Sand Valley with Bandon a lot, right?
I know, I don't want to cut you off, but at the 3 hour and 40 minute mark, let's go through an exercise.
No, it's gonna be really quick. I think it's important. All right, over the next decade, you have to split up your golf trips between Sand Valley and Bandon. What's your split there? To me, honestly, it would be like 9-1 Bandon.
I was gonna say 8-2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with
because you. I think, to Aaron's point, we missed a good bit of it by not staying on property.
Yeah,
that wasn't our fault. I or Andrew's fault, but
maybe 9-1 is strong.
Yeah, they just don't have enough lodging for how much courses they have available yet. And I will say, you miss a part of it, but where you going, Aaron, with it? 9-1?
I was thinking like a 4-1 ratio. So every 5 years, Sand Valley wants Bandon 4 times. That would work.
That's edit.
The practicality of Sand Valley is way easier to pull off, right? Like Bandon, for us, you're traveling across the country. It's this extremely rural, remote location. There's an expense. You get tee times a year and a half in advance. You could technically pull off Sand Valley a few months prior and get some day tee times and get an Airbnb like we did, so there's a part of that makes it a little bit probably more realistic for people that don't have 2 years of planning for a golf trip. But yeah, that's just,
what? I had a lot of fun, but I live in the PNW. I'm not going back till the mound opens.
I
when
agree.
They open that, I'll be there.
There is a new putting course that's going to open at some point. They needed that, sodding it, and I believe there's it's a short course, maybe a kids course, that they were, I think, sodding when we were there.
I think Plug goes back to Sand Valley in 29. Let them finish out some stuff. Let's take a little time. We'll head back, but we're going to Mammoth Dunes before then.
If Plug or myself is alive in 29, we're going to Sand Valley. I mark it in now, but I don't know which one's more likely to be around by then. But but we're definitely going to Bandon before then. Just got a text asking, "Hey guys, you want to come to Bandon in 25
yes,
again?"
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, let us heads rejoice. This pod is coming to an end. That is everything you need to know about Sand Valley. We're going to have one more coming up a couple weeks down the road, Lasonia links, and the final Let Us Rank of not just the course rankings, the course logos, and as always, with the big yawn coming in, Jewel, we'll just X out his box there, is stay plugged.
Yo, I'm doing the Steph Curry goodnight right now.
Comment, like, subscribe.
Good night.